This was the summer I turned into a full-on seasonal anime watcher. I ended up watching 17 different shows in a lot of different genres. I had a little bit of everything from action, drama, fantasy, of course romance, some mystery, and horror, a genre I don't usually pick up, but there just was so many good things to watch that I just had to give so many things a chance. I watched animes and donghwas, and this season was definitely super stacked with so many shows having such high ratings, not just episode ratings, but just overall series. Here's my summer 2025 anime tier list from what I love to things that I barely finished and everything in between. Meow, meow.
Meow.
A quick note about this tier list, it is based on recommendation. So S tier is highly recommended. These are my favorites. I will not stop talking about these animes. A is for recommended. These are excellent choices. They might not be my favorite, but they are still very good shows. B is maybe recommend, and these are kind of split into what's worth a watch depending on who you are. I'll maybe recommend this to you. And if you're already a fan of this anime, definitely just keep going. And C is don't recommend. I just can't give the recommendation, but you do you, boo. And D is for dropped because I just couldn't finish these, and there is a reason. So let's dive into the video. First on a list for highly recommended, I have Takopi's Original Sin. A squid-like creature named Takopi lands on Earth wanting to spread happiness and is taken in by Shizuka, a lonely little girl. As he tries to bring joy, the story explores how adult decisions ripple down to children, creating a raw and emotional narrative. I didn't expect a story about an alien from the planet of happiness to just hit me this hard. This story was just so well done. Each episode is heavy, but it doesn't feel forced at all. One of my favorite parts was the use of perspective, not only in storytelling, but also visually. They use these fisheye shots where the character is centered and then the sides are warped. It perfectly mirrors the emotion that the character is feeling of isolation, loneliness, and inner turmoil. At just 6 episodes, it's short, it's unforgettable, and it just makes you think more and more about your life, and I couldn't stop thinking about it days after I finished it. Dandadan Season 2. While exercising Gigi's family home, Momo narrowly escapes an abduction, and Okuran and Gigi are ambushed by the cursed Kito family. Their actions threaten the mysterious foundations of the town, shrouded in legends, blending supernatural action, romance, and chaos. I usually don't like when new seasons start mid-arc, but for Dandadan it works. I think the pacing is great, the new characters just slide into the story very naturally, and Okuran's and Momo's romance continue to be one of my favorite slow burn romance, and I can't stop like kicking my feet and blushing. And Kinta might be my favorite comic relief character this season. The animation continues to be stunning. I think what I really like about Dandadan is just how they use like dark colors like black and then these neon colors to really make things pop. New OP grew on me. It was hard to come after Creepy Nuts OP from season 1, but I like this one as well. And of course, in true Dandadan fashion, this season had their fair share of what did I just watch kind of moments, from rock band Exorcist to a Power Ranger-esque robot Buddha. It's still chaotic, it's filled with romance and fun scenes, and it is the reason that Dandadan continues to be one of my favorite action romance shows. My Dress Up Darling Season 2. Marin and Gojo explore the cosplay world while deepening their friendship, balancing romance, humor, and fan service. Season 2 expands on friendship and community, offering beautiful animation and strong character moments. Right before Season 2 came out, I binged Season 1. My Dress Up Darling has been on my watch list, and I finally picked it up because Season 2 was coming out, and I think it was the perfect way to get into it because Season 1, I wasn't sure about this one. The fan service was a lot and I almost dropped it, but I was like, let's just go through with it. Season 2 is coming out, it looks pretty good, and I felt like it was a great payoff. Season 2, we get Marin's perspective, and we get kind of more of the supporting cast, not just our couple with Marin and Gojo. And it really is because of the theme of acceptance and belonging and finding your people. Like when they have their pageant arc, and Gojo's kind of like, I don't know if I want my classmates to know that I do cosplay, but they were all so supportive. And it was like nice to see that, especially like, you know, like high school, some people don't have the best experience and get bullied for certain things, but everyone was just so happy to see Gojo and see his work, and Marin just being the badass that she is and gorgeous in the cosplay. I also enjoyed seeing Akira's backstory. It was so sad to see her mom get rid of like all her manga and her anime and just like be not very supportive of her hobby. I kind of could relate to it, not to that severity, but it reminded me of when I was in high school and I was really into K-dramas and K-pop, and my parents were like, why do you listen and watch those shows? Not that they were like against it, but they were just like kind of confused because like I could have been watching like Filipino shows or like just like regular American shows, but I was addicted. I was watching so much. It's ironic because nowadays they kind of watch more Korean dramas. I think that was kind of why I related to the season and just seeing acceptance. I also think just like in social media now, like you can find your people or people to talk about, like even like creating this channel. This was kind of why I just wanted a space that I can just talk about anime and whatever else I wanted to talk about. It was beautifully directed and animated and just made season 2 so good. Every week I was excited to see a new episode, and Marin and Gojo are one of my favorite couples and I can't wait to see them continue growing in love, especially since I am a sucker for like friendship to lovers kind of tropes. To be Hero X. In a world where heroes gain powers based on people's trust, the top hero known as X must navigate constantly shifting alliances. Interconnected short stories converge in unexpected ways with unique animation styles and a narrative twist. I've been watching To Be Hero X since last anime season, so it is a spring-summer anime since it had 24 episodes, and I almost dropped it, and thank God I did not. The reason I almost dropped it in the beginning was the Chinese dub. I just wasn't a fan of it, but then I watched it in the Japanese dub, and it was a lot better in my opinion. Watch it however you want. The cast for the Japanese dub is just completely stacked. Like there are so many good voice actors. I think in the beginning it was a bit confusing because you have to realize that it is like short stories. When everything comes together and all the stories converge, it was just beautiful. It was just so satisfying. The art styles were great. They just don't stick to one art style. There are moments when they change it up and it's part of the storytelling, and I think it's just so good. My favorite heroes were Ghostblade and Queen. I do wish that X got more screen time because his sequences were just so gorgeous and he just was like that cool guy. So if you're not sure if you want to pick this up, definitely do it. It is so good. I am going to be talking about this one. If people want a superhero recommendation, this will be at the top of my list. Secrets of a Silent Witch. Monica Everett, the genius silent witch, lives in isolation using chantless magic to defeat dragons and powerful foes. Her shy personality shapes a quiet, heartwarming slice of life story as she opens up to society. I picked up Secrets of a Silent Witch on a whim and it completely won me over. Monica Everett is just the cutest character. She is that derpy, lovable OP character. A lot of people were comparing her to Bocchi from Bocchi the Rock. I have never watched it, so I can't really attest to that, but I've seen like clips of Bocchi and it's the same derpiness. She actually reminds me more of Frieren, just because that's the only one I could think of, where they are both OP witches that are kind of awkward in regular life and just kind of open up to society and kind of like learn more about life. And they've already technically had their adventure, but they are starting a new adventure. The voice acting was great, the music was great, and the animation was magnificent. One of the scenes that lives rent-free in my brain is when Monica fights the dragon and she does her magic. I think every time they show her magic, it's just beautifully animated. It has this powerful vibe as well as a whimsical feel to it. Exactly like her. Like she is such a badass when she's in her magic because that is where she feels most comfortable to also come out of her bubble and socialize, and everyone was just so sweet to her even though her past experiences hasn't been the best. So I've just enjoyed seeing our little witch kind of grow. I am going to highly recommend this if you want a good slice of life anime and just something fun to watch. I actually picked up the manga after this, so I'll be reading that while I wait for season 2. Now we are heading into A tier, which is all my recommended anime. Clevitis. Clevitis, a lord of dark beasts, attacks the kingdom of Haydn after wiping out a hero party. Told from the perspective of the dark beast antagonist, it explores morality and the tension between humans and the other races. The first episode hooked me in. I had no idea what this was about, but then when I saw Clevitis just wipe out the hero party in the first episode, I was like, oh, so it's that kind of anime. And I've been really liking the fantasy genre lately. Like we had Clevitis, we had Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Meshi, and then Frieren. So I think fantasy has kind of flourished again in like storytelling. not like isekai specifically, the subgenre, but like just true fantasy adventure, there has just been so many good stories being told. The lore is rich and the world building is great. One of my favorite parts was probably Nell's backstory. It was heart-wrenching, but it was beautifully done, and it just made me love that character so much because she's had such a hard life, but she still continues to be kind. This is one of those underrated dark fantasies and a hidden gem that everyone should start watching. The summer Hikaru died. 6 months after Hikaru's disappearance and return, Yoshiki realizes this isn't the same person. Hikaru reveals his monstrous form and begs for secrecy, exploring grief and identity in a daunting slow burn narrative. This one quietly messed with my head, and I actually had to watch it during the day because I am not good at watching horrors. I'm a big scaredy cat. The visuals are gorgeous, the story is deeply unsettling, and that slow burn tension keeps you uneasy the whole time. The directing is incredible. When the show wanted you to feel disturbed, you felt disturbed. The scene where Hikaru transformed, I completely froze. And the still shots with the sunflowers, it was eerie yet beautiful. I'll never look at Raw Chicken the same way again. It's haunting, emotional. If you're into horror mystery, then this is up your alley. It is October also, so you should definitely check it out. Grand Blue Dreaming Season 2. 3 months after moving above his uncle's diving shop, Lori continues his reckless college antics. His sister tries to rein in, blending chaotic humor, friendship, and nostalgic college energy. I wasn't expecting to love a pure comedy this much, but Grand Blue Dreaming is gold. Season 2 keeps all the chaos, the laughs, the giggles, the drinking. The new characters blend right in. The story continues to give us that nostalgic, ridiculous college energy. I think one of the reasons I like Grand Blue Dreaming is how Lori also has like 2 groups. He has like his boys that are just ridiculous, and then he has like his diving group. I am a sucker for just being there for your buddies, so I just remember one of the episodes, there's like Lori and his friend, I can't think of his name, the blonde guy, but like people were making fun of him, and then him and his boys were like, no, you can't make fun of him because only we can make fun of him that he's like an otaku. So that was just so real. Friends can talk shit about you, but nobody else can, and they will defend you. They're just such homies. Like whether he's with his guys or with his diving group, like the camaraderie is always there, and I just find myself laughing on the couch watching this anime. Also, there's gonna be season 3, so if you want a comedy, an adult comedy, then check out Grand Blue Dreaming. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Season 2 Part 2. Hanako-kun continues balancing spooky mysteries with school life charm as Nene and Hanako confront new supernatural challenges. This part reminds me why I fell in love with Toilet Bound Hanako-kun from season 1. It continues to have one of my favorite art styles with this watercolor storybook look. What really stood out to me this time was getting the backstory of Hanako-kun and his brother, and you see why he is how he is and why he acts the way he does. I continue to like how this world that they're showing is expanding and we get more explanation. The difference between season 1 and 2 is season 1 was a little bit more lighthearted. It was like going through the mysteries at the school, but then season 2 we dig deeper, the world gets bigger, and the reasons and stakes for things are so much higher. Like I did not expect the story to go this way. It does it in such a beautiful way and it makes it so interesting. I'm just like so curious what's gonna happen next. It is a solid continuation and an eerie and a heartfelt story. So if you haven't picked it up already, definitely watch Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. So now we are headed into the maybe recommended list. Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. Count Kairos and Marie navigate slow burn misunderstandings, self-doubt, and romantic growth in a Cinderella-style story. While predictable, it's a cute, fluffy romance with charming side characters and a satisfying resolution. I honestly didn't expect to like this one as much as I did. The story is predictable. The animation is not the best. I actually do have a gripe over it. I did not like how the hair is done and this greenish tint that they put around Marie's hair, and like the streaks in Count Kairos's hair just really bothered me, but it was just like, it was good. It was like, okay, that's what I'm telling myself. It is for the people who love fluffy historical romances like myself and who just eat it up and will eat it up all day long. Marie is the more self-doubty female lead, but it doesn't drag too long. It does drag for a bit, but it's like at the tip of me being like completely annoyed and dropping this, but I was still very excited to watch it, and like the fluffiness is just so soft and fluffy. So if you're into romances, then just pick this up. It is a 12 episode 1 seasoner, and then you can mark off another romance anime. Sakamoto Days Part 2. Retired hitman Taru Sakamoto continues thwarting assassins while trying to live a peaceful life with his family. The arrival of insane death row inmates bring non-stop action and humor, keeping the slick, stylish energy alive. So this is part 2 of season 1 for Sakamoto Days, and it continues to be stylish, jam-packed, and a fun anime, but I don't know if this one's for me. So I think just going into Sakamoto Days, I had too high of expectations for this show. I like Sakamoto and Shin, and I think the choreography of the fights are super cool, and we even get 2 white-haired villains because white-haired men are always my favorite characters, and the OP is such a banger. I always liked watching it, but I just wasn't excited when new episodes dropped. I think my main issue with Sakamoto Days is the balance between it being like a slice of life and an action assassin anime, because it just feels kind of clunky for me. We have Spy X Family, and that is also kind of in the same slice of life action assassin kind of storyline with family, and I kind of prefer that one just because I feel like it's more true to being a slice of life with action, whereas Sakamoto Days, I guess it is supposed to be more action with slice of life, but I don't even think the slice of life is persuasive because it just doesn't really show his family, and it's more of this assassin part. I would recommend it for people who might not like Spy X Family because it's not adult enough, because this one is more gory, and Sakamoto's aura farming is off the charts. Rascal does not dream of Santa Claus. Sakta finally enrolls in the same university as Mai and adjusts to new surroundings, but disruptions arise from friends and idols. A heartfelt, character-driven story best enjoyed by fans of the previous series. So if you love the Rascal series, then go ahead and watch this one. Just a reminder, the Rascal series has the first season, which is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and then it has 3 movies that are canon, so watch those 3 movies, and then watch this season. The season continues to give you the emotional beats and the mystery around puberty syndrome, but it's mostly the same thing from all the other stories. There's nothing really groundbreaking, and we just get introduced to more girls. At one point, I'm like, who is Sakta talking to? Like, which one of these new girls? Because they all look the same, except for my son, because, you know, my son is best girl. I just more watched it because I've already watched the rest of the show, and it's just more of a comfort anime or something to watch. So that's why this series is more like, if you're already a fan of the rest of the Rascal series, then pick this up because it's kind of much the same if you just want to continue having those like anecdotes and like short stories. Kaiju number 8, season 2. Kafka Hibino, the first kaiju to side with humans, joins the Defense Force's 1st Division. When a massive horde of kaiju attacks and kaiju number 9 arrives, Kafka must prove himself while fighting alongside friends and mentors in high-stakes battles. The story felt kind of repetitive with trainings and mission, but I'm like a sucker for Kafka and seeing him grow alongside his friends. I'm seeing Shinomiya also grow. Like, I liked those parts, but it just kind of felt boring for me. But don't get me wrong, the kaiju number 9 fights are like intense and they have me invested, but I'm still disappointed on how the characters are designed from season 1. I was hoping they would change it in season 2. If you look at the differences between the manga and the anime versions of like characters, it's just like, why don't we get the manga version? Also, the music for me was a letdown. I just think we were at a very high tier of music for OP and EP from season 1, and the season 2 ones for me was just not hitting the same. I'm not really a fan where the story leaves off with this cliffhanger, because then I'm just like, might as well just wait to watch season 2 when season 3 comes out. Now we have the shows that I don't recommend. Lord of Mysteries. In a Victorian steampunk world, Zhao Mingru awakens as Klein Moretti. Caught between rival churches and ancient horrors, he walks in a perilous path where power comes at a cost. This is a legend born from limitless potential and unspoken dread. Lord of Mysteries was the donghua that I started, and I probably should have dropped after the first episode when I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue, but then I was very stubborn and was like, we're just gonna get through this, it'll get better, because the story is just so hard to follow and it does not get better. But I just think it's not worth the time getting into it. Like, it is visually beautiful, like gorgeous. Like, the characters are gorgeous, the fight scenes are amazing, even just the backgrounds and the details. But the story, the lack of explanation, and just being thrown in lore dumping after lore dumping just makes it not very fun to watch. Because there was so many times I had to pause and rewatch things to make sure I even understood that part, but then I came out of an episode still confused. And I even would think, like, how did we get to this part of the story? Like, it was just whiplash, basically. Yeah, I think this one is for all the people who want to read the source material or have read it, then you can really enjoy it. So I'm not gonna be recommending it, but you know, you do you, boo. Now we have, unfortunately, an anime I dropped this season. Rising of Shield Hero Season 4. Nafumi travels to the Eastern Isolationist Kingdom to protect Reptalia from assassins, stopping in Siltvale along the way. So I really tried to watch season 4 and I just couldn't. I think I got into 7 episodes before I dropped it. It's 12 episodes. And I also realized I had not finished season 3, so I had to go back and I ended up watching like one of those YouTube recap series to kind of get up to speed where we left off. And watching season 4, there is parts where they get stuck in this kingdom, Siltvale, and that's how I felt watching the series in not the best experience, so I ended up dropping it. I don't think I'll be picking up Shield Hero again. And just quickly, I just wanted to mention some series that I'm watching that are not done. I am watching Gachiakuta. I hope I say that right. Gachiakuta and The Fragrant Flower Blooms in Dignity. I know The Fragrant Flower Bloom in Dignity was a summer anime, but I am from the US and Netflix didn't drop it until September and is doing a weekly kind of thing. So I will wait and you'll see it at next season's tier list. It is so good. So you can probably guess where I'm gonna be rating it. And so that is how my summer as a full-on seasonal anime watcher went. And it's honestly one of the best seasonal lineups for anime I've ever had. And watching it week for week was such a treat. Looking ahead for the fall 2025 anime lineup, I will be watching the sequels. My Heroes has their last season, Spy X Family, One Punch Man, and some news stories I'm excited for is May I Ask for One Final Thing and Who Made Me Princess. That is a manhwa that has been on my list, my TBR list. So I'm excited to watch the anime donghua version, and I'll probably read that manhwa because it's just rated so highly. I'll be sharing my first impressions for all of those on my socials in short form content, so on my TikTok, Instagram, and here on YouTube. And if you ever just want to hear my thoughts, I am always on Threads. I have my actual ratings for my animes over there, so go follow me there if you use Threads. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, and I hope I continue to do these tier lists, and I'll be having a bunch of anime challenges too. I am doing a horror challenge, like a watch anime horror challenge, and like I said, I'm not good into horror, but check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Meow, bye.